So my name is Tony Gonzalez from This is Rock Magazine, and today we are going to talk to John Corabi from the Dead Daisies, and a long story that you have as a singer. John, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm just hanging out, trying to enjoy this heat that we've been experiencing here in Nashville. It's been crazy. But, you know, staying in the air conditioning as much as I can and just enjoying life.
It's the same here in Spain. We have 40 degrees in the shadows. It's really complicated. Yes.
That's I don't know Celsius. So what's that? 40 and 40 is 80. So like maybe 100 degrees in America in Fahrenheit.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes. Okay, John, but let's go back to the story. I'm glad to see that you are back in the Dead Daisies. Does it mean that your departure from the band in 2020 was in good terms? Am I right?
Yeah. To be honest with you, when I joined the band, initially we had all discussed doing the band, and they said, maybe we'll need you half a year. And I said, oh, okay. So this is okay. I can do the Dead Daisies, and I can go back and do some shows with my solo band, who my son was playing drums for.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, but we did that first record, Revolution. I don't know why, but that record just connected with a lot of people. And we immediately went on tour with Kiss. We started doing all these festivals. We just kept getting offers for shows. And it got to the point where I was doing, we would go out, we would tour the world, come home and start working on another record, and then go right back out and tour the world, come home and do another record. It was just on a personal level. My son was in this year, and he's like, Dad, I moved to Nashville to be in your solo band, and now you're doing the Dead Daisies, and you suck. And then my wife, I had just gotten married in August of 2014. And then I joined the Daisies in January of 2015. So I would come home from tour, and she would be in the other ear going, I don't know who you are. I don't recognize you. Like, who are you? So I just said to the guys it was actually 2019. I said, I really appreciate the offer, but I'm going to go do shows on my own at my own pace. And I would like to spend some time with my kids, my new wife, and, we'll see how it goes. But it was on good terms. So I was still talking to David and the band guys almost every day, the management people. And even at one point, they were getting ready to go out on tour with Glenn Hughes, and Glenn got sick. So I flew up to New York, and I helped them rehearse for their tour with Glenn. So it was always on good terms. There was no bad blood, no arguing. I love the guys, always have. And, when Glenn decided that he wanted to go do Black Country Communion again and his Deep Purple shows, David Lowy called me up, and we had dinner together. And he said, okay, buddy, are you rested? And I said, yep. He goes, have you spent enough time with your family? And I said, yep. And now my wife was like, don't you have a tour to go do? So she couldn't wait for me to get out of the house. So I went back and everything's been great.
So, John, your wife is an angel.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
You are lucky, man. You are really lucky. Yes. But the other part of the story is that your comeback means that the band returned to rock and roll, hard rock, classic rock, and the heavier part of the last two recordings are taken apart. Is that okay?
No, because I don't, maybe I'm too close to what we do or what I bring to the table with the band, but I like the records they did with Glenn. But it's funny. A few people have said, "Oh, now it sounds like the Daisies again," and I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? But I'm just happy that everybody embraced me coming back and doing this new record, Light 'Em Up, was easy. Like all the old records, we just got into a room, we jammed, and we let the music develop the way it wanted to develop. And Light 'Em Up is the product of five guys being in a room jamming together. So I don't understand, like a lot of people have mentioned my return and what the new music sounds like in comparison to what they did with Glenn, but we're doing some of the Glenn stuff in our sets as well. I think Glenn is an amazing vocalist, a good friend, and I love those records that they did. So I don't know. Maybe it's different. I don't know.
I'm a member of the Spanish Deep Purple fan club. And personally, I know that when Glenn get in the Dead Daisies, it was for a period of time, not forever, because always having new ideas. So the good idea or the good news is that you come back. Maybe this is the reason why the other journalists are trying to say that the band come back and now they are the Dead Daisies that we met some years ago.
Okay, I'll take that. That's all good. All good.
Yes. And tell me, when you returned to the band, were there some part of the song were written, or all the songs from this record are new?
Yeah, I mean, the beauty is now, like, everybody's got Pro Tools. So we all sit at home with our recording studios and we put ideas down with drums and bass and whatever. But even a song like there's a song on the new. Have you heard the whole record, the new record?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a song on there called Love That Will Never Be. It's the kind of a ballad. And I had already written that song with Marty prior to coming back to the Daisies. But it didn't sound like the Daisies. So we went back into the studio and it was like, okay, David, what would you do to this song? Doug, how would you play this song? And so we kind of tore the song apart and then put it back together again in a manner where it sounds like the Dead Daisies. But most of the other stuff was just ideas. They were just a riff here or just little pieces of songs that we had put down on either our phone or in our home studios, and then we work on them as we always do. We work on them together as a 5-piece band. Do you know what I mean?
What were you doing when you left and in this period of time?
Well, when I left, it was 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I was very busy, but kind of working at my own pace.
Mm.
But I was very busy. And then I started working in 2020, and I started to say, okay, I want to do a solo record. And then COVID hit.
Mm.
So during COVID, I wrote a book called Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. And I was very upset with myself because of all the records I had done in the past. I didn't know how to record myself. So I took school or classes to learn how to use Pro Tools.
Good.
And so I was still productive, but not in a manner of going out and playing shows because quite honestly, nobody was really playing. I mean, it was almost 3 years. The music business was kind of shut down. Do you know what I mean? So I made do. Like I said, I wrote a book, I took classes, and then I just sat in my studio. I'm still not great at Pro Tools, but I'm good enough where I can sit down and I can create a file and I can start recording guitars and bass and piano, and I can sing, and then what I do is I'll finish the song and then I give it to Marty Fredrickson, and then he mixes it for me to make it sound better. So I was busy, but not playing many shows.
And tell me, John, maybe I don't understand clearly, but maybe yes. But to make it clear, are you going to sing some songs from Glenn Hughes period?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I think that it will be perfect and really different with your tone of voice that is really is stronger and different. Really.
Yeah, Glenn's voice is completely different than mine. So I took the songs and I just brought, like I said, I have the studio now.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked the Dead Daisies to send me some of the songs with no vocals. And then I sat here at my house with headphones um and it's very true to the melody that Glenn did, but I just don't do some of that really, really super high stuff that only Glenn is capable of doing. But it still sounds like the song, but it's just John Corabi singing Glenn Hughes. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. So tell me, did you write the lyrics?
Oh yes, of course, yes.
Oh, perfect. And did you write part of the music or only the lyrics?
No. I actually there's quite a few songs on the record that I contributed music to as well. I play guitar, so and that's the thing about the Dead Daisies, which is beautiful. If I have maybe an issue where I can't think of anything lyrically, I go to the other guys in the band and I say, hey, here's my lyrics, but I can't think of something for this one line, and it's not unusual for the other guys in the band to throw in an idea or throw something in that then the light bulb goes, oh, okay, yes. But it's the same too with me. Like when Doug does a lot of his guitar parts or his solos, he likes it when I'm in the room with him because I think about things differently than he does. So we're all very open to each other's ideas. David Lowy will come up with a guitar part, and then I go, oh, well, how about this? And so we're all constantly helping each other, even with drums. Marty plays drums. I play a little bit. So we just, we're all sitting in a room together and something may not sound great. It's not unusual for one of the other guys to say to the drummer, "Oh, hey, play in double time or halftime or whatever." So we all help each other.
Yes, I asked you about the lyrics because one of my favorite songs is "I Wanna Be Your Bitch." And it's weird to me that you sing that verse, so maybe the meaning is different than the literary meaning. Please tell me about this song.
So if you're a typical man, I try to convey this story, but I know it's happened to me in the past where I'm so angry at my, girlfriend or my wife, and you're like, "Oh God," and maybe you're arguing, and then your girlfriend or wife will step out of the shower and take the towel off and then start getting addressed, and you go, you know what I mean? You go, "Oh, what was I mad about?" Because we don't think with this head, we think with that one. You know what I mean? So that's all it is. It's just kind of a funny, tongue in cheek, uh, because we're talking in the lyrics, we're talking about how she's saying, "I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that," and you're getting frustrated, but then then she takes her towel off, and you go, "Yes, take whatever you want," you know. So it's just tongue in cheek.
Yes, so Lighten Up is the first track, the song title, and the first single. And how is the process to select the title of the CD that in the Dead Daisies is usually the name of a song, but how is the process to select the title of the CD?
You know what's funny? Again, when we start recording, we don't really have a preconceived notion of what we want the record to sound like or what we're going to call the record. And then it's funny, we record the whole thing and we sit there and we listen to the record, and our manager will be in the room with us. And there's always like one little phrase, like even on the Make Some Noise record, we wrote Make Some Noise, we recorded it. And then it was like, well, that phrase, make some noise or light them up, it's such a great, catchy phrase. Let's call the record that. And it just kind of, it's like destiny or fate, whatever. It just kind of works out that way. You know what I mean? So after we listened to all the songs on Light 'Em Up, we went, there's nothing to think about here. It's right there in front of us. We're going to call the record Light 'Em Up.
Yes. The second single is I'm Gonna Ride with a strong AC/DC flavor. Maybe it's not the first time, but to me, now that I pay attention to have this interview with you, let's see, it's the first time that you take this AC/DC flavor, because let me confess you that apart from I'm Gonna Ride, there is another song that still have the AC/DC rhythm. So it's the first time. Tell me about this song, I'm Gonna Ride, please.
Again, it's something I started, just the riff. I didn't have the song finished, but I had started working on with Marty and this good friend of mine, Keith Nelson, who used to be in Buck Cherry. I put the idea down and then I forgot about it. And when we were coming up with ideas for the record, I played everybody that riff. And they said, "Oh, this is great. This is awesome." So we all sat in a room together and we worked it out. And I don't know why, but when I write lyrics, I listen to the music and I close my eyes and I just think like it's almost like I see things like a video. When I was listening to the music, I just kept seeing myself getting on a bike, a motorcycle, and just riding somewhere. So I sat down and worked on the lyrics and I played it for Marty. And, Marty and I are always adjusting the lyrics, even while I'm singing, we're changing things. But as soon as we were done, everybody heard the song and they were like, "Dude, this is great. It's just about getting on a bike. You have stress. Your wife is yelling at you. Your boss is yelling at you. You're watching the news. You just go, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to get on my motorcycle and just ride and clear my head." So I love the way it came out. And it's funny because some people hear AC/DC, but I've actually had some people say, "Oh, this sounds like the Cult as well." So I don't know. Again, I wasn't really thinking of anything. We just sat down and we jammed on it as a band. And I just thought about some dumbass like me just getting on his motorcycle and taking a nice long ride somewhere out in the country.
Mötley Crüe reunites once again. And I would like to ask you about this, but my question is, with the experience you have now as a singer, how do you see your experience in Mötley Crüe?
Honestly, buddy, I am extremely grateful to Mötley Crüe, and I always will be. Contrary to what people think, I'll always be grateful to the guys for giving me that opportunity, even though it didn't work out. But I got to record, I know everybody says one record, but it was really like 3 records. It was the 94 album. We did another record called Quaternary. And we did another record, which became Generation Swine. I had a great time with them. And I wouldn't change anything. I have no regrets about anything I've done in the past. So I'm very grateful to them. I thank them for the opportunity. But I'm also not a person that looks backwards. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I always tell everybody, if you get in your car and you try to drive forward, but you're looking in the mirror behind you, you're going to hit something.
Yes.
So I always try to look forward and just keep moving and do what I do.
Yes. But I remember that when you were in Mötley Crüe, the press don't treat you really well. However, in the Dead Daisies, the press treat you better. Then what are the differences according to you?
Well, I was put in an unfortunate situation where I had to replace somebody, as whether you like him or you don't. Vince Neil is a very enigmatic singer. I mean, they're a legendary band, and as much as I love Aerosmith, I think I would get treated the same with the press if I was to join Aerosmith, if something, God forbid, ever happened to Steven Tyler. So it's just an unfortunate situation where I didn't really think of it at the time, but I know, like, to the fans how hard it is to replace somebody like Vince. And I'm seeing it to a degree now even with the Dead Daisies. You know, like we were saying earlier, the 2 records that Glenn did, everybody kind of looked at Glenn as the guy that was replacing me. And now that I'm back, they're very, very happy about it. So for whatever the fans' reasons or think, everybody associates me as the singer of the Dead Daisies. You know what I mean? And so I understand it. You know what I mean? I think the other thing is now with the Dead Daisies, I'm not joining a band that was already established. I'm helping a band become established. So maybe that's the difference. I don't know. But
I would like to tell you, my name is Tony Gonzalez. I'm living in Spain, but I'm from Cuba. And even when you were in Cuba, I was here in Spain, but I was really glad, really happy, because a band with your level, the people really enjoy, you share with Cuban singers and musicians. So everything was really like a brotherhood. That is something that I consider is the spirit of the Dead Daisies. What do you remember about
it? You know what's funny? There's always going to be detractors, people that have nothing good to say. You know, it's unfortunate that America and Cuba have had the history that they've had. But the thing I remember, and I'm a little bit of a history buff. I love history. So when Obama, at the time, our president, said, you know what, this relationship between America and Cuba, only 90 miles away from America, is not working. We need to open relations, allow Americans to go there and visit your country, support your country economically by buying things and selling things to Cuba. You know what I mean? I thought it was a good idea. I've always been taught, even if you have a disagreement, you can disagree, but you can disagree in a polite and nice manner. My parents used to say, you always get more flies with honey than vinegar. Do you know what I mean? So I was up for it. And when the Dead Daisies said, we're doing a concert in Cuba, I couldn't believe it. I was like, yes, I want to go. And
en esta noche del 28 de febrero del año 2015, para todos, the Dead Daisies.
You know, it was amazing. The fans were incredible. The food, amazing. The music, everywhere, was amazing. You know, and we did the shows and we came home, and then there were some people that said, oh, you know, they were like, fuck you guys, you go down and you play for a dictator. And I'm like, no. I did not play for Fidel Castro. I played for his people, who have, unfortunately, because of politics, have been robbed of a lot of the music that we do, a lot of the music that we grew up listening to. So I was very happy to go there. Everybody from the Arts Council that they traveled with us, they were amazing. They treated us amazing. And like I said, the fans were, well, you could see it in the Midnight Moses video that we did. It's all the Cuban fans there. And we had such a great time. And it's a shame because to me, music in most cases transcends anything political. You know, it's one of those things, even still now in America, you have conservatives, people that are voting for Trump. We have liberals that are voting or we're going to vote for, you know, the Democrats, and they bicker all the time. But if I do a concert, I can get people from both sides in a room for 2 hours that have nothing to say, no opinions. They're just there to listen to music. And I think that to me is an awesome thing. And I would love to go back to Cuba once again and play for the fans down there. I thought it was amazing.
Totally agree with you, John. Let me tell you something. For example, when Jimi Hendrix plays Voodoo Child, who was the president in USA? I don't remember. When Jan Gillan wrote Child in Time, who was the prime minister in UK? We don't know, but this song, maybe not exactly this, you have your own song, I have mine, will be with us forever.
Yes.
Yes. So my last question is, in your personal opinion, what are the most important moments in your life with the Dead Daisies?
Oh, well, Cuba was a huge highlight for me. That was amazing. And then I have to say, we did a concert. It was a free show, free concert. Oddly enough, they used to call it Woodstock, but I think they had to change the name. And it's in Poland every year. And so we did it one year, and the promoter was like, "Ugh, I love this band." So he invited us to come back the following year. And I mean, the first time we were there, we played at maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the second time he had us back, he asked us to close the evening. So we were kind of, for lack of a better term, we were the headliner. But he asked us to play with a 63-piece Polish orchestra. And we went out on stage and we played for about 350,000 people with a Polish orchestra. Nobody was sure if it would work or not, but it was just unbelievable. So I'd have to say the two things that for me is, well, actually 3 things. There was Poland, Cuba, and then we played in Paris, France, a week or 10 days after the Bataclan incident in Paris. And I remember David, our guitar player, saying, we all sat and we talked about it. Should we go? Should we not go? We weren't sure, like, out of respect for the people that had died, do we go? And David said, if we don't go, they win. So we went, we played. We had extra security at the show, and we had completely packed house. And I just remember looking out and seeing some of the French fans just crying hysterically, and they had signs and they were like, "Thank you for coming. We needed this." So those three things are probably the three things that, for me, mean the most.
Oh, John, thank you very much for this time. I enjoyed a lot. Yes, I enjoy it, really, really enjoy it. The next time you come to Spain, to Madrid, I will try to meet you in person, because in the past, when the Dead Daisy comes, I sometimes try to speak to Marco Mendoza, who is very friendly. But now that I met you on a video, I would like to meet you in person. So I hope to see you in person.
Well, when we play in Spain, try and set something up where you can come and say hello.
Perfect.
And we'll have vino tinto.
Yes, we drink wine, red wine. Perfect.
Yeah. Or cerveza, whatever.
Cerveza. Yes. Okay, John, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Gracias.
Bye.
Bye-bye.